Okay, well, hello. Let's get started to Inside the Broken Family. That didn't make any sense.
That's okay.
Anyways, welcome. We're excited to have you here at Inside the Broken Family. We do a podcast every week where we read stories or poems or insights, talk about what we've read. We're excited you're here this January, and let's get started. All right, well, I'm sitting here, so I guess I'll read.
Do we want to talk about last week?
Oh, yeah. Does anybody have anything to talk about what went on last week or what they heard on the podcast last week?
We had Matt and Alicia on. I really liked Matt's story.
It was fun to hear.
Head is rolling.
I hope Alicia writes next time she comes on.
Yeah, me too.
She said she would.
Yeah, she said she already started thinking of something.
Yeah.
She said she really enjoyed the feedback and getting to talk. So, and she has encouraged other family members to come and join. So maybe one day we'll have had everyone come read or be here. That would be fun. All right, we have a birthday coming up this week. That's going to be exciting. And we have an anniversary coming up this week. Everybody seems really excited. Abby is having a birthday, and Jeff and Annalie are going to have an anniversary, and that will be great. All right. Well, anything else?
Did you say what the topic is?
Oh, yeah. We picked a topic this week. So once a month, we pick a topic out of 300 or 400 different ideas we had. And today is Pampered, Perfect Princess is our topic. So I guess I'll go ahead and start. There was once a girl named Clary. She lived with her family in a modest home. Everything they owned was very worn. Clary shared a room with her sister. She loved the little corner of her room that was all hers. When night fell, it was the one time she could lay on her bed and dream. There was just one thing wrong, a spring that had popped up through the mattress. Sometimes that made it uncomfortable to sleep. It's okay, Clary thought to herself. I just won't lay in the middle of the bed. Clary was beautiful and talented. Her parents wanted to have her perform anytime someone came to the home. At first, she enjoyed the attention she got singing and dancing. She thought, this is amazing. I'm so loved. At night, she would return to the corner of her room to dream of her future living in a house with a soft, amazing mattress. She would often get jolted awake by another spring that would pop through her mattress. As Clary grew, her parents demanded more of her talents. They would have her sing and dance on the corner of the street as people would pass by. People started to leave some money as she performed. It was enough to help her family, which made them even more demanding for the things they wanted. They didn't even care that her mattress was in such despair. Her sleeping became very difficult. She decided she needed to leave her family. She deserved much more. She put what little she had into a suitcase, waited for the perfect time to leave. The parents and the sister had left their home to go buy some new things they really wanted, and left Clary on the corner to sing and dance. She decided it was time to go. She grabbed her suitcase and ran to the next town. As she reached the town, she stopped to breathe, walked and just looked at the shops, felt so free. She could not believe her eyes. King's Mattress Shop. was right in front of her. She was nervous to go inside. She had never been where and seen a new mattress. As Clara opened the door to the shop and walked in, a young man approached her and said, "Hi, I'm Prince. How are you? Are you in need of a mattress?" 6 months later, Clary walked down the aisle to Prince, where they would become Prince and Clary King. Prince promised that she could pick any mattress in the store and that she would never have to sleep with springs poking her ever again. Now, as Clary climbs into bed, she feels like the most pampered, perfect princess. As Clary dreams, she now knows she has the ability to take her talents to whatever heights she wants to achieve.
Where did the idea for Clary come from?
Well, I don't know, the name just popped in my head with, sorry.
What was the name?
Clary.
Because you said
Clary and Claire.
Clara.
Yeah, I know.
So it's
Sorry.
3 different forms.
It's really I wanted to put Clary, but I didn't know how to spell Clary. I guess I could look that up. So I put Clara, but then I kept changing the name. So forgive me, it was Clara. And anyways, the idea kind of popped in my head because our daughter was in the hospital for a couple nights, and we'd gone and ended up staying in a hotel to be with her. And the mattress had a darn spring that was poking in my back. It had not come all the way through the mattress, but it was poking in my back. So that's kind of where the thought had come from, and then I finished.
That's funny.
So what performing did Clara do?
She sang and danced.
Oh, she sang and danced. Okay.
Yeah. She was very talented. It was Clara.
Clara.
But I said Clary, Claire, and Clara. So
So that was Clara.
it was Clara. Sorry. In my head, I wanted to do Clary.
I just thought she had a split personality.
Maybe that's a problem I do.
So her dream came true, and she found her prince, and she could pick the best mattress.
Yeah, because
in the kingdom.
her parents became very demanding because she was making money for them. So then they became even more demanding, but they didn't care that her bed was in disrepair and had lots of springs where she couldn't sleep. So, yeah, but her dream came true because she got to meet her prince who got her a mattress. That would be the best.
So do you think Clara would have had the courage to leave her family if her mattress was not in despair?
You know, she may not have had the courage because she thought that they loved her. She thought they loved her more than anyone because when she performed, she got lots of attention. And so I think if her bed would have been more comfortable, she might have thought that that's how she got attention and love was by performing. But when she realized they didn't really care about her, they cared about what they got, then she needed to leave.
So after she left and she got married to the mattress king, did her parents come to the store and buy a mattress to replace the one that had the broken spring?
You know, I just didn't have time to think of more of the story, but I actually thought about what I would do with that. But they wouldn't have the money anymore. Once she left, they were very, very meager means, and they had very used things in their home. But then, once Clary's talents became known, they realized they could make money off of her, then...
So replacing the mattress wasn't a priority.
No, or they would have done it to keep her there.
Right.
If they had gotten her a beautiful mattress, she probably would have stayed.
Those are some crappy parents.
Anyways, she was a pampered, perfect princess.
Very good.
After when she found her.
Mattress king.
Yep. Right.
Talk about a double meaning.
Oh. Why are you thinking that way?
Well, you did, actually.
That's not the way I was thinking. I was thinking it could be a cute little book of her dancing like a ballerina and singing beautifully. I think of Ellie dancing, and that's what I was thinking about. As you know, I thought it could be a cute little book, but you made it a dirty little book.
I did not.
All right, Mom.
It was a cute story.
Oh,
Who's next?
let's just go start here and go all the way around.
That was cute.
Oh, that's all that came to mind.
That's good.
It's all that sprung to mind.
Yes, and then all the little.
That's the springs in the mattress.
Okay, you know what's funny?
What?
When she said springs, I was thinking of a water spring.
The waterbed?
Not like
Sprung
So
spring.
like just like springs kept
wait, no way.
Yeah, I don't know if mattresses have a lot of springs anymore,
I
but
don't
they
know.
used to be made
That's
of
what-
just
that-
like-
that's what- that was my thought.
I'm like, why?
She didn't have to sleep on a spring mattress anymore because they don't make them.
not as much.
It's just a memory foam.
Hmm. Or they'll do a memory foam
Spring
on
waters.
top with springs like in there, because I learned that we just bought a mattress, and so yeah.
I think waterbeds
Oh
don't
my
have
gosh. Yeah, Daddy and I slept on a waterbed for the first
springs. But they don't have
5-6
springs.
years of our marriage.
Waterbeds don't have springs,
How'd
but
you-
they can spring a leak.
So
How
we
did you fill a waterbed up?
the hose,
Hose,
from
just a
outside.
garden hose.
From
You
outside?
put it
you
through
the
put it
window.
in the window.
Yeah.
Yep, and hook it to the thing and fill it. And it was cold. It was cold to begin with, so you had to heat it.
Yeah.
You
It
had
had
to
a
heat the
heater on
bed,
it.
and it was freezing when you first slept on it because it was cold
Take a
water.
while to
that
heat
would-
up.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
and the bed would slosh,
Yeah.
you know, when you get on it.
There was probably a small subset of people that thought if they filled their water with the purest water, that it would be healthier.
Maybe.
They probably only filled it with spring water.
I don't know how they
Only
would.
those-
And
spring
then they would leak
mattress.
springs.
I don't know.
It would
But you
take
know,
forever to fill
the
it
crazy
that
part about it is when you would move those, it was so much because you had to drain them. Then you had to refill them where you set it up again. So it was so much work,
Good
and we
Lord.
did that. You would have known us with.
I remember a waterbed
At Grandma and Grandpa's. That was the waterbed Dad slept
That was a
on.
big thing in the 70s.
Yeah,
When I was a teenager,
Yeah.
we had a waterbed.
but we had a waterbed probably the first 5
Yeah.
years of our marriage.
It probably just carried
Ours.
over from what I was used to.
We
You know,
both
as a
thought it was
teenager.
cool. My
Yeah.
dad sold waterbeds. That was like the big
Yeah.
thing.
Back in the
Isn't
70s.
that funny?
strange thing.
It is.
All right. Pampered Perfect Princess. The title of this is Goldie. Sitting on the throne, gazing up through the bathroom window, the glass feels cold to his touch. Cold enough to snow, Farmer Ron says quietly to himself, although he's really not much of a farmer. A few chickens here, irrigating a back acre of grass in the summer there, planting a few vegetables here and a few fruit trees there, being his only meager farmer qualifiers. Farmer, he chuckled to himself, as his early morning ears pick up a hoo, 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 hoo. Clarence, the great horned owl, perched high above him in the leafless branches of a giant elm tree, seems to ask, "Who, you awake? Hoo, me too." As he peers up past Clarence to focus on a big, crystalline snowflake seeming to flitter and flutter in between Luna's waxing crescent smile and Venus's bright sparkle in the early pre-dawn morning sky. Hydrox, on his most recent water cycle adventure, floated down past Clarence, who hooted at him in passing as an early morning breeze shifted his fall, to twirl around Farmer Ron's bird feeders as Turtle and Pidge cooed at him, and Finch, fluffing his bright crimson feathers, chee weed, a gregarious hello, as Hydrox, before he could respond, was whisked away on a stiffer breeze to hover around Zoe, Farmer Wade's horse, although Farmer Wade wasn't much of a farmer either, even though he cut his acres of tall grass with a really farmer-like green and yellow John Deere tractor. Zoe whinnied a hearty hi, blowing hydrox, spinning towards Farmer Ron's Scottish pine pole barn as he fell through the chicken wire to land gently on Goldie's golden soft feather. "Hey!" clucked Goldie in surprise as Pepper pecked nervously at the quickly melting snowflake. Hydrox, with a vanishing smile of excitement, sparkled wetly for his newfound journey as Pepper peed. Annie purred in her early morning awakening. "The sun will come out tomorrow," as her soft clucking ushered in a new dawn of a new day, with the satisfaction in her bantam's voice of finding this new brood of egg-laying sisters. Chloe balked obscenely, trying to come out of her nightmare of old Farmer Ron's wife, Penelope, screaming across the farm in the middle of the night, "Off with their heads! Off with their heads!" And then she squawked loudly, seeing Big Red and Bob's heads rolling across the grass as their bodies danced a headless jig, to the horror of her unopened eyes. "Wake up, Chloe! Wake up!" Ginger nudged her roughly. Rosie, Minnie, and Greta slowly opened their eyes, ruffling feathers and wings in a stretching motion. The brood had all awakened for the day as Goldie clucked, "Listen!" All the girls' attention focused on the old farmhouse door opening. Old Farmer Ron strode out across the lawn, his hands full of scraps from yesterday's dinner. Sadie and Archie took off towards the back of the property, with Marzie close on their heels. He looked up. He could see Buck, standing with ears alert, so quick to know there was no danger from these familiar and seemingly clueless beasts. Buck, in one leap, lithely sprang over the fence and all in the same motion hurdled the canal. Farmer Ron smiled coyly in Buck's direction as Buck stood safely watching all three dogs pile into each other, crashing into the farm fence, barking dumbly. Buck smiled smugly and proceeded to prance confidently across old Farmer Godfrey's field. Now Godfrey, there's a real farmer, Ron thought as he continued towards his girls. Dusty, the downy woodpecker, continued to peck on the neighbor's dead tree, oblivious to all the commotion, as Stryker, the ferruginous hawk, screeched defiantly, "Caw! Caw!" in early morning hunting, while Stuart, Peanut, and Mickey cowered inside Farmer Ron's old Scottish pine pole barn, huddled together inside a corner of the old feed box, squeaking in fear. "You boys shouldn't be afraid. Stryker won't venture in here. You're safe for now," Goldie offered. The boys just squeaked, petrified and frozen. Farmer Ron's approaching footsteps sent a vibration through the little flock as all of the brood quickly, yet in somewhat of a clumsy gait, with wings flapping slightly, their bodies bobbing up and down, dashing through the maze of coops, all the while making a flurry of clucking noises out into the chickens' run. All, that is, except for Goldie. She knew that after dumping the scraps, old Farmer Ron would come into the coop, collect all the eggs, and, as she nestled in her nesting box, Goldie's box, he caressed her golden feathers. She clucked contently as Farmer Ron said out loud and with no little affection, "Goldie, I love all you girls, but you're definitely my pampered princess." Rocking back and forth with each and every stroke, she clucked rhythmically back, "I'm perfectly okay with that."
She would talk to the farm?
Yeah.
Wow! Do you have conversations with your chickens?
And all the animals. The birds and the horse.
He's
and...
Dr. Doolittle.
It was a story full of life.
Yeah. That's cute.
I liked how you used the snowflake in the beginning to start your journey into the story.
Yeah. as I was sitting on the toilet the other day, and I think I told you that I was excited that I actually saw and identified a great horned owl, and it was lightly snowing that morning when I woke up, and so that's where this kind of started from. It's generated from that.
I like the same thing in your story. I like when people call back to previous stories they've already written.
You've done it. You did it twice.
Yeah, you've done it before, but
No, you did it twice in there.
Well, Luna.
Oh,
And
3
Hydrox.
times actually. Then.
What was the other one? Luna, Hydrox, and
I think that was the only one.
Are you gonna answer the question?
It was from your skeleton one.
Oh, Godfrey. Farmer Godfrey. Yeah, that was. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You said gregarious. Could you read that part? Where you...
Yeah. So Finch,
Yes.
the house finch, and male house finches have a crimson red breast and head, and the female version of the house finch is just drab brown. So the finch, and finches are very gregarious little birds.
What does gregarious mean?
Friendly, just really like lighthearted and friendly. Oh, yeah. So, and Finch, fluffing his bright crimson feathers, chee-chee weed, a gregarious hello.
Chee-chee wee.
I couldn't remember the noises you made.
Yeah, chee-chee weed, a gregarious hello as Hydrox, before he could respond, was whisked away. So all of the characters in that little story were communicating with each other. And I thought that was
Yeah, and
just
poor-
kind of fun.
Was it Gold? Which one
Goldie.
was waking up with the dream? Was it Goldie waking
No,
up?
that was Chloe.
Yeah, she was waking up
With the
the dream.
dream.
And the off with their head.
Yeah, where Farmer Ron's wife, Penelope, yeah,
Got it.
screamed
I
through
got
the
that.
night.
I heard that. Yeah. At 4 and
Yeah.
1 and
Yeah.
midnight, they were loud. They needed their heads gone.
Right.
Did you have any thoughts or feelings when you saw the horned owl?
He did.
A horned owl.
That's a cool,
The great horned owl.
great horn.
Yeah,
horned
Clarence.
owl. Cool thing to see.
It was just, I had heard him, and I think it's a him, especially because of the way he was making his sounds.
We have
The
them
males
out
make
there.
a deeper hooting than the females. And I had seen this owl over the years here, up on the telephone pole, and I heard him around different places, but I could never see him. And this time I actually saw him.
Where was he?
And I got my binoculars out and looked really close, and I could identify him in my book, finally.
Because he has made noises forever.
Yes,
And he's
yes.
really prevalent right
And he's
now.
big. He's a big owl.
But he's very. Have you guys heard him? Because he's very
Yeah,
cooing.
yeah. It's just out there.
All right. Don't have a title for this story, so maybe you guys can help me out with that later. The pampered, perfect princess, dressed in pink from head to toe, sits in the confessional. The predestined purple pope opens the door and asks, "What is weighing on your soul, my child?" She thinks for a moment and responds, "It's the persistent, powerful playboy." The Pope's face turns red with anger. "You mean the pliable psycho pioneer, the perverse poor pilot, the performance popular pirate?" The Pope, going through all the names for a new boy in town, a missionary from the Mormon church. She interrupts the Pope. "Yes, it's him." A cry starts down her cheek. Her voice kicks back up. "We have been dating for the past few weeks." The Pope lets out a gasp. You've been what? Dating a Mormon? How could you? Her face sinks back at the Pope's repeated reprimands. Yes, I've been dating him, and I caught him kissing another girl. I also lost my job, so I'm trying to keep up with the pining plastic penny. I can't pay my rent, my cards are all maxed, and my mom is now the poopy pants poppy. The Pope turns his head to meet her eyes, staring at him through the slits in the wood. His mouth begins to move. I forgive you, my daughter, as long as you promise never to date another Mormon. They both sigh in unified relief. She steps out of the confessional and picks up her purse with a plastered, panting puppy in it. Who's a good boy, she says while kissing its nose. The Pope steps out and begins to walk down the hall. He glances back to check if the woman had left. Distracted by the sight of doggy kisses, he runs into the plain, pretty pot, knocking it off the table and shattering it. The pampered princess looks down the hall at the distracting noise. A man walks up behind the panicky Pope. The proper pissing Peyton, aka the Mormon, stands at the precipice of a broken pot and his broken relationship. The missionary starts to shout down the hall out at the girl. It wasn't me. It was the previous posted president, Joseph Smith, that said it was okay to date multiple women. Standing with all the pride of the gods, of the gods' past words. That's it.
One of the things I constantly thought was like, this is a very detailed joke.
I loved all the peas in there.
Well, I'd like to, I was a, what the heck was I, a poopy?
Poopy
You're a
poppy.
poopy pants poppy,
Poopy
Yeah,
pants
thank you.
poppy.
indicating you've lost your mind.
Oh, that's a yeah, I get it now.
So what I did was I just sat and I wrote like 20 different phrases that never repeated but were different P words, and then I just filled in a story around
fit
it.
out. Yeah, it was really clever. It was fun.
Very odd.
What to title it, huh?
Very odd.
The Perfect Peas.
Perfect peas.
I don't know.
Persistent peas.
Persistent peas.
Pampered confessions.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Peyton was pissing in a plant, so.
I forget what I
Yeah,
said.
I think
Yeah.
that's what you said.
Proper pissing Peyton,
Yeah.
aka the Mormon.
That was fun.
That was really good. Yeah. I love the
It was
wordplay.
entertaining.
Yeah, the wordplay was fun.
It was different.
It was definitely different from what I've
Yeah.
written.
Did you enjoy writing it?
Yeah, I did. I sat laughing at myself.
And then you laughed more when I was reading it to you.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
You read it to him and then he laughed again.
Yeah.
And he's like, read it, and then I read it out loud.
It's funny.
That's funny.
I
I
didn't
really,
know what to-
I really enjoyed your kind of expansion in writing.
Mm.
I really enjoyed that, hearing that from you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know what to write at all for the pampered
Yeah.
I
pampered
didn't
perfect
either.
princess. So I just filled in. Abby brought up a good point. It was like the
Mad Libs.
the Mad Lib where you fill in the
Yeah.
adjectives,
Yeah,
nouns,
yeah,
and
yeah.
verbs. It's like that, but the opposite. I filled in all the adjectives, nouns, and verbs, and then I wrote the story around those.
Yeah. It's kind of a fun idea.
It is really fun.
It's perfect.
Right, Abby?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mercy. Okay. Mine is called Cross-Eyed Eyes. It's a poem. Black and white with big blue eyes. When no pets are given, you will hear her cries. She gained a few pounds, but is small for her size. Laying back, she sees your lap as a prize. Though she is old, the random nights help her energize. She can't see lizards, but chases flies. When her rival gets affection, she peeks around the corner and spies. The special cat's name is Baleen. That's how she's recognized. What a pampered perfect princess with big blue cross-eyed eyes.
Oh my gosh, that fits
That
that
is
cat.
perfect for her.
Grandma
can't do
tortured that.
lasers.
Well,
She doesn't respond to lasers.
She does. She's
I
cross-eyed.
thought you said
She
lizard.
can't see everything.
Lasers.
Oh, I thought I
But
heard
she attacks
lizard.
flies, so I don't understand how it works.
She still has her eyes are
Find
still
them.
her eyes are still cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Maybe she listens for them.
Oh yeah. Also,
Yeah, maybe.
No, she caught one time, and I was like, "What?"
It's amazing that cat is so as
Alive still?
socially
Okay.
okay as it is.
I know.
She's not socially okay.
I mean, a little bit that she is.
Yeah.
But I mean, Grandma
She's not mean.
really, she was kept in a room.
Lathered in
Vaseline.
Vaseline.
Torture.
Kicked
Oh,
every
whatever.
time she
Torture.
was
Yeah,
seen.
seriously.
Oh, and if I understood what that was all for, I would have just blah.
With your mom being a cat lover, that's kind of interesting when you stand back and look.
Oh
what
yeah,
she did.
because she started not feeding it. I kept finding little mounds of food just stuck on the
Under
bed. And I was like, what is going on? And I would think, but the cat wasn't allowed off the bed. She wouldn't let the cat off the bed. And it was great. It was
Talk
crazy.
about going crazy.
Yeah. My poor mom in her memory, but poor Baleen and
No kidding.
Bay in her memory. Do you
Sounds
guys
like
still call her
she's-
Baleen?
Yeah.
Well, that's her angry name. When she's scratching the walls,
Whoa!
she's naughty.
Kids are gonna be fun.
I know, it's like the cat and the dog win. We're in trouble. That is her angry name. When she scratches walls.
Did your parents have two names for you? One for when they were angry and one for
What
when they
other
were
name would Abby? My name's Abby.
Abs? They
Yeah.
call you abs?
No,
Abelina,
no,
Do you have a middle name?
Lindsay, but they didn't.
Abigail.
They didn't use both
Yeah.
names.
Was your name Abigail?
Wow.
No, my name's not Abigail.
I didn't think so.
But people would call me Abigail, and I didn't like it.
I just keep thinking of the angry cat scratching on the wall.
She does it to get attention.
What?
I don't know why.
Spray her with, you get a little spray gun.
Then she'll go scratch another wall.
Oh!
She's too smart. Her water was empty today, and she wouldn't stop scratching the wall until I paid attention to her, and then she would guide me to her water thing to tell me I needed water.
Have you thought about putting a little scratching?
Yeah, she doesn't scratch.
She doesn't do it.
Well, she does sometimes.
She just likes the walls.
Oh my gosh.
We used to have a rabbit that ate through telephone wires.
And the wall. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snoopy.
Yeah, Dad brought our first pet home.
Yeah, when we were in LA.
Yeah, some customer gave it to Dad.
Yeah.
Dad's always like,
I was
yeah,
a
no
sucker.
problem, I'll take it.
Your first pet was a rabbit. Huh?
Yes, and it literally ate a hole through the wall, and it ate our telephone wires.
Yeah.
What did you call it? What was
Snoopy.
What was its angry name?
We didn't keep it, but what did we do with him?
I think I gave it to another customer.
You must have, because we didn't take him with us.
No, I think I gave it to somebody in the ward.
Huh, I have no idea.
I gave it to the lady after I drank out of her milk carton. in the
No,
refrigerator.
she kicked us out of the house, honey.
Wow.
I think she's passed, so it's okay.
Well, she's way past.
She's way past.
Well, no, she was like 80 then.
That's when Nana and I slept on a twin bed together
And we
in a little room.
Yep. And then he got us kicked out of the place because we were supposed to take care of it for this
'Cause I
lady
was
when she
chugging
went to
milk out
visit
of it.
family. And he goes into the refrigerator and chugs milk, and she immediately kicked us out of the house.
I don't blame her.
I mean, no, I don't either, but we had nowhere to go.
We were homeless on the streets of
Yep.
LA.
And then we got an apartment with cockroaches painted onto the wall.
I hate cockroaches.
I do too. They were not fun. And
Were they the little tiny ones or the big?
Oh,
they were
pretty
tiny
big.
ones. And then when we came home from LA,
They were pretty big.
Say that again. Say that again at the
So-
same time. Which one is it?
They were pretty big.
at nighttime,
I would say they're about an inch.
at nighttime when it was dark and you flipped on the light, they were huge. But whatever one was painted to the wall was smaller. And then there
That
was
was
one
amazing.
in our clock. That was we
That
called him
ca-
Charlie.
That came with us. That
He
moved
came home
with
with us,
Yeah.
and he just lived in our clock till he died.
So an inch is
That's
huge
good.
to you?
Well, the ones that we saw were that big. The ones I had on my mission in France were a lot bigger.
Look at Annalie's face.
They were a
big.
lot bigger. They were like 2 to 3 inches.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
lived in Florida.
Yeah,
I've seen all
exactly.
of them.
Grandma and Grandpa, before Grandma's mind went, she would always tell the story of they came out of the movie theater and Grandpa had left the windows of the car down. And when they got into the car they were in Alabama, and it was a summer night, and the car filled with the bugs. Mm-hmm. So Grandma wouldn't get in the car. And Grandpa had to follow behind, Grandma stayed on the sidewalk, and Grandpa just went really slow until they went home. Funny. Because she refused to get in the car with the bugs.
And how old was she?
Oh, gosh. In her
20?
20s. Yeah. No. I mean, 20. Yeah,
Early,
21.
Early.
Or, yeah. Well, yeah, she hadn't had Ollie yet, so 20s, yeah.
All right. This is entitled A Perfectly Pampered Princess.
Original name?
Why is that so funny to you? Original.
I didn't have a title, so I could have said the Mattress King or something,
Yeah, you definitely could have, Mom.
So go ahead, sorry.
You have permission from the host.
Okay. This is not a happy story.
Oh boy. Oh man. Okay.
Rips out.
What's going on?
They're falling apart.
Your ribs out.
Yeah. Would you put it back in?
Just jerking my mouth.
We're kind of ruining Jeff's mood.
Okay, I'm ready. Ouch! Okay. Oh my god!
What was that demon noise?
She released it though.
Oh my god! Oh god! Okay.
You need to know because at first glance, one might be convinced that all is well. The trick is in the eyes. The queen in this very sad story is constantly smiling, but never with her eyes. Many, many years ago, long before the queen became queen or even grown up, she was an orphan. Her father was killed by a knight on a horse racing to slay a dragon. Her father didn't look both ways on that dirt road. The knight didn't know what happened either. The only thought the knight had was excitement for being granted the power of flight and how this power would help him with his fight with the dragon. Neither man made it past that moment. After raising the would-be queen on her own for a year, the girl's mother decided she had had enough of mothering and joined a band of traveling, fire-breathing, sword-swallowing performers. This choice this choice left the would-be queen alone at 5 years of age. Along with the utter and complete loneliness and isolation, this happens to be when the queen's smile began to fade from her eyes. If you knew how the world often treats orphans, you would not judge the queen's smile for leaving. The little girls survived, and that is all that mattered in a world determined to use and abuse the helpless. I could tell you all the girl experienced up until the point she met the prince, but I don't want to be responsible for your spilt tears. When the girl became queen, she no longer needed to survive. Her brain knew it, and most of her body, but the smile in her eyes never got the memo. It was with these flat eyes the queen made an oath to her newborn baby girl. This girl would never want as the queen had wanted. This girl would never need for anything. This girl, the queen's daughter, would always and instantly have everything she would ever need and want.
From that time forth, the queen's oath was law. The infant princess was accompanied by an entourage of constantly attentive caretakers. One for toys, one for milk, two for diapers, one for physical touch, and so on. Any noise made by the infant was met with a flurry of attention solving of the problem. One day, the queen decided noise was beneath her princess and subsequently had her daughter's mouth glued shut with the exception of a little hole for liquid to be poured into. While other babies were playing with the vibration of the universe, the little pampered princess could only whistle, which was only interpreted as delight by the queen and therefore everyone else, even when they didn't hear delight in the wheezing. At some point, every child has an innate desire to move and explore the world. For the princess, this desire manifested in a deep need to just be alone. The problem was the queen and her shadows couldn't see. The second the queen saw her baby princess reach for anything, the queen's mind flashed to her own childhood movements for survival. Her child would never feel that way. A carrying crib was erected so the princess could be carried anywhere she wanted to go. Even the carrying crib did not stop all movements, so to prevent future hurts, the queen had the crib made smaller and smaller. Eventually, the princess's arms and legs were pinned in the bars of the crib. It resembled the floating waffle iron filled to the brim with white, fatty waffle mix with fingers and toes oozing out. Eventually, a contraption was created to even hold the princess's head in place. While other children were exploring shapes in space, while building little cores, the pampered princess was losing shape and any desire for anything. One day, the strangest happenings yet unfolded. While the entourage carried, fed, changed, and entertained the baby, suddenly the princess began to melt and ooze from the crib. Not knowing what to do, the carriers tried to keep the princess blob from sliding out of the crib to the floor by tipping the crib this way and that way. The baby oozed back and forth like a cracked egg in a frying pan. The gaggle of people oohed and awed with anticipation at each tip of the crib. Suddenly, the queen appeared, holding the side of the crib, so the melted, coreless, formless princess slid between the crib bars and dripped into a heart-shaped vase the queen held in her hands. The crowd's silence allowed each drop to echo through the palace. The last drop of sludgy princess released the crowd's tongue, and a cheer rose up for the queen and her ability to know exactly what the princess needed. Beneath the cheers, the collective crowd tried to swallow their disgust like swallowing a raw, slimy, and partly bloody egg. From that time forward, the queen could be seen traveling far and wide throughout all her kingdom. All her citizens couldn't help but notice how bright and vibrant and young the queen looked, year after year after year. And no matter where she went, she carried a container. The queen became loved because of the beautifully detailed and intricate containers she carried, stars and bunnies and trees and flowers and ponies, each container handmade and perfectly sized to carry a perfectly pampered princess. The content and powerful queen held her container and waved to her citizens, smiling brightly. But even after getting all she wanted, the queen's smile couldn't reach her eyes.
Do big systems like Mormonism or capitalism, or put any system there, do they do what the queen did to the pampered princess? Do they make you shapeless and blob-like and something that isn't full anymore of anything?
I think it's possible, yeah. I think it's possible.
Doesn't have to be certain religions that could do that. Could be
I said
anything.
Big system.
Could be a job.
I said big system.
That was interesting when you were talking about the the blob going back and forth. And I could just picture that in my head, and then going, ooh, and ah, and as they're trying to keep it in. Well, that was just a very interesting picture.
There was a part where you said that the pampered princess was whistling, and the other kids were playing with the vibrations of the universe. I was like, I mean, you wrote it, but it made me think instantly of a girl whistling, and you find that very enjoyable, and you would look at it and be like, wow, that's so cool. And then of it zooming out, and you see these other kids or the rest of kids playing with like the universe and creating worlds, and all of a sudden it becomes a somber picture.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think about what society has done to our children or to adults, right? We're always looking at our phones, or we're playing with video games or whatever, when years ago there was none of those things. There might be the television or a telephone, or radio, record player, but you went out to play to feel the of the world, of the trees, of the ground. The kids just went out and played, got dirty, and built forts and stuff, and we're kind of missing that in our world today, I feel like.
I think I like the idea of that the picture of the pampered princess whistling and the kids playing with the vibrations of the universe, because the girl and the children are all doing the same thing. The girl just hasn't been shown that she's doing that because she's been put into a box.
But I don't know.
Queen.
I agree, but I don't know if you were writing it that way. You were more writing that she wasn't able to play with the universe because she was being told what to do at all times.
I can see that too, but I do think that I just think it's a cool idea that even if you were writing it that way, the girl who's whistling is also playing with the vibrations of the universe because she has the vibrations of the universe in her, and using that to create the whistling sound. And I think that if in the story that princess was taught that that's what she was doing, the ending could have been different.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like to think about that.
It made me think about how, like with parenting, I can only observe parenting because I'm not a parent yet. But it made me think about the idea of like good intentions for your kids and how there's consequences to that, and how the queen went in with a good intention of not wanting her child to feel the pain she felt, but the consequence was what happened. Like, I don't know. I feel like, well, for me at least, it's something to think about, like going into parenting tactics. Even though you think it's harmless and perfectly good and safe, you have to look at all the pros and cons.
Yeah. Is the thought as a parent of I'm going to be different than everybody else, is that a harmful thought?
I guess it could be. Also, it depends on the person's definition of different, right? And what they're wanting to be different from.
Let's say their definition is literally they think they're going to be different than every other single parent that's ever existed. Like they actually think I'm going to be different than everybody else. Is that harmful?
Well, again, you'd have to sit with that person and you'd have to gather what their definition of different is, because every person would sit there and have specific points on what they think is going to be different.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did this, but like when we got married, we definitely talked about different goals that I wanted to be different than my parents, and he talked about things he wanted to be different, and we kind of made this plan of what we thought would happen. You kind of just set ideas for yourself of what you think.
Yeah. And I feel like, and I don't know if this is true, but I feel like basically everybody does that. And that might be overstepping or putting too many people in a box. But
It depends.
I feel like that's what I was trying to say is everybody does that, but everybody also ends up, you know, kind of the trope is screwing up your kids. So it's like, is that the start of you screwing up? Just feeling like you're going to be different, or even treating yourself like you're going to be different.
Yeah, I think it's not helpful to, because people hold on to that idea a lot of, I screw up my kids or I'm going to screw up my kids. And I think the truth of being in a relationship is we impact each other. One way or the other, we're going to be impacted by each other. And so as parents, you're going to have an impact. Different sizes, different shapes, different flavors of impact. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, and I think I didn't ever think about it that way. I think I just held all the guilt of what I did wrong instead of realizing that every parent is going to have issues and that, you know, can talk about things and be more open with different things and maybe work through those sooner than letting it all bubble to the surface, and where hopefully you can learn from experiences instead of
I think it's
try to run from
I think
experiences.
it's normal for two people coming together and going to be parents to take maybe the good that they've learned from their growing up and maybe want to share that with their kids, you know, in that way. I think that's probably normal to think that way.
Yeah, I agree, but is it in the trying to be somebody, do you forget that you are being somebody?
Right.
It depends on if you think you have to live up to something or you're just experiencing it. So I think there's a difference. If you're trying to live up to something, you're never going to live up to it. But if you actually are here in the moments, then you'll do the best you can.
This woman, this queen in Jeff's story, to me, as she went into that, wanting to protect her child from everything and do everything for her and provide everything for her, it almost to me seemed like she was taking away that child's room to find herself and to grow. And that she was kind of enabling that child in almost a gross way, you know, just completely enabling that child so that she really couldn't have an existence. She really didn't have a chance.
And if you think about the intention behind someone who's doing that, knowingly or unknowingly, to a child, the intention is completely self-serving. Completely self-serving.
Yeah,
It's
to
just
the,
like,
to
it's
the
the
extreme.
idea that I never have to be alone and I'll always be needed.
Because you had a child.
It's a really gross
It's
idea.
because
Yeah,
you had
gross.
a child, you mean?
Well,
Are you saying that or because...
More of because I have a child that's helpless.
right.
I've created that. I've created that.
I mean,
Yes.
to the far
That's
extent
actually a scary thought.
was like that lady that the daughter went to prison.
Oh,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
Because she had her daughter, everyone believed she had different illnesses and she went to so many different doctors. They actually put in a feeding tube. It was after the flood in Louisiana, so all the reports went missing. That's what she said. So then they had to do what she said happened to her daughter. Then she said she had cancer and she wouldn't let her daughter walk. She would feed her through, crazy
So
things.
that's called something.
Munchausen.
Yes, Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and the consequence was, in order to escape, she had a boyfriend kill her mom, and she ran. And that is crazy to get to that point.
Yeah.
That you are so
I
controlled.
don't know if it's crazy.
No, but she was so controlled.
For
she
her,
didn't
it
know.
probably felt like the only way.
Right.
Yeah.
She had no one to tell that this was happening. Even her dad, she couldn't tell. She saw dad every once in a while, but her dad thought she had mental problems and things wrong with her. So
It
they
is.
thought everybody was taking care of her, and that's what the neighbors thought. Everyone thought.
It's sad to see the after effects of it because Gypsy Rose, she posts a lot about her personal life, and she is the epitome of like narcissism. Like
Well,
she
I
is
don't
no,
think
she's
that.
awful. She's awful. She's an awful human.
I
But it's
don't
not her
think so.
fault.
Would you have her on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't find her and everything I want. No,
No, if
interesting
you
enough.
listen to her,
I
Mom,
know I have.
she's awful.
To me, I would never
look-
say
look
for
what
what
she's-
she's
I know
been
that's
through.
what's sad. It's
I-
like
I
you get
would
to
never
see the
say that.
consequences of the way she was raised. And
I
it's not
think-
her fault, but it's still the consequence is that she's
Correct.
now she's a terrible human. Like
Well,
she's not
I
good.
don't think you can fairly call somebody a
don't either.
terrible human. I think that from what
What do you
I've
mean?
seen,
I can call Hitler a terrible human?
Yes, but I don't think I would compare her to that.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, but for you to say that, I think is
You
pretty,
just said you don't think I can call somebody a terrible human. I can call
no.
Hitler.
I just think it's pretty bad when she's trying to just get her life started in the best way she knows how. People come after her with cameras and things, so if she puts it out there, maybe that stops that.
She also could just ignore them and
Right.
stuff.
Disappeared. She's
Yeah.
chosen to be very out there.
I know, but that we don't know her personally until you
Well,
knew.
she
No, but
puts
that-
herself out there personally.
You
Yeah,
need to know.
that choice of making one's life public, it says something about the person.
And also,
Well, we're
do
sitting here
people
doing
share
a
everything
podcast.
about their lives?
A lot of people do on
Even the
social
people that
media.
share everything, they don't share everything. They still
Yeah,
have
yeah,
secrets.
yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
Gypsy Rose is choosing to put out certain parts of herself. And those parts of herself are terrible. So, what parts are you hiding?
I've watched.
That's an interesting point.
But I've watched her show. I didn't find it to be
I
terrible.
watched the show. Have you seen her social medias?
I don't watch all of social media. No.
I have. I've seen the show and I saw social media.
I didn't
The
see
show
it.
was very much painting her as how you just said it.
Well, how a girl trying to figure out how to live after her. Talk about a life where somebody controlled it all the time and no one helped her. Everybody went along with it. Even the doctors that started to figure out what was happening, they didn't turn the mom in. They didn't help her. And so that, you have to, how do you live? And then you go to jail
Well,
and
I
you
think,
have to,
I think that's
the
one
consequences.
of the consequences of raising a child that way, and that's an extreme example, is the
Yeah.
child never grows a core. The child never gets to figure out what's me and what's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk
They're
about a hard
always-
scene.
They're always enmeshed and mixed up with.
And I guarantee she's having to go through a lot of counseling and a lot of
She may
parts.
not.
I don't doubt that you're
I just
You're
think to
not
call
right.
somebody that we don't know, that I think is not right.
all I can know is the things that she puts out.
I'm just saying maybe that's a little harsh.
Well,
She
how
makes
like
herself-
you're going off the picture somebody painted for you, Mom. Somebody who produced
I'm
that
just-
show had an image they wanted to
I'm
put out.
just saying, this isn't for me. Listen, everybody could assume different things from different stories we've read or different things. They can assume a lot about us. We're out here putting out content that people can listen to. Not many,
No
maybe
one's
100
writing
people,
stories about
whatever it is. But no, I understand that. But I'm just saying, when you put yourself out, someone could.
Yeah.
No, people do.
Yeah.
People do all
And
that.
people
Maybe-
assume
Maybe
they know who you are.
Maybe giving
And so
another human being a little bit of grace in that they have
can
had a
improve their
mixed up,
life and
horrible-
have a screwed up thing.
screwed up life.
All you can hope is
give
for
them
good.
a little bit there.
All you can hope is that
Does
they
that-
choose
does that-
better things.
Does that disregards people's actions the way they were raised?
No,
So why
doesn't
are you saying
disregard
why are you
it
saying it like
because
it does?
they're still a human being.
I
What
agree.
does that mean? Jeffrey Dahmer was a human being.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
And he was
But he
raised
went to jail.
terribly.
Exactly.
What?
He killed
Gypsy
people.
Rose went to
So-
jail and killed somebody.
Well, she didn't. Somebody else did.
She manipulated
manipulated-
somebody
and he's still
into
in jail.
killing her mom for
Who's
her,
mentally not
and he's still in
mentally
prison
ill.
and she's not.
mentally slow.
Well, there's more to that story too.
I agree.
Yeah, there's more to that
That she
story.
lied about a lot.
Well, she also didn't know how to get herself. How do you get out of that situation? You're
Why?
told-
Why do you want to defend Gypsy Rose so much?
Oh, I'm just saying, if you read her story of what the mother did,
I
Like-
obviously have.
like how in any way was she to figure out how to get out of that?
Well, she could have left. She realized she was older than she was being told. She could have left.
Yes, but so you realize that you're being told you're 4 years younger or 4 years older. She figures that out, that she's 4 years older, and that she can walk.
Good point. Like that, no one. She could have just left.
But
didn't
her
have
mother
to
controlled
kill her mom.
everything. Her mother beat her. Her mother.
I'm sure her mother was
it's
like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
many mothers control everything. Does every mother
I'm
that
just
controls
saying,
everything deserve to die?
No, and even Gypsy said that she
Gypsy
knows that she should
Gypsy
not.
Rose is a crazy person,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
I'm
sad
just
to
saying-
see.
I'm just saying we don't know her. We will never meet her. I'm just saying for you to
You never know.
just publicly say this
Gypsy
and
Rose
that.
is a terrible person.
You know, Jeffrey Dahmer killing and eating people.
Jeffrey Dahmer is
that's
a terrible person.
probably a really terrible person. But for someone to we don't
But just
understand.
everything all the arguments you made for Gypsy Rose could be made for Jeffrey.
That's
Yes.
fine.
Because he had a very crappy childhood. Also.
Jeffrey Dahmer accepted God before he died.
Well, so do a lot of
Got
people
got
because they're
baptized.
scared to death. They're going to
I don't
be
think he's recording.
turned into
It's recording.
they're scared to death. They're going to have to face God. Of course, they're going to think they repent because they're afraid of what they've done. Does that mean? I mean, we might see him walking around up there. I don't know how it works.
Look, I'm not. If there's a heaven, I'm not. I don't even want to get into it.
Oh, alrighty then. I do.
If it's
I'm
painted,
there.
if it's painted in any way, it's
If it's
Oh,
religious,
brother.
if it's
So far.
religious heaven.
No, I do. I want the pearly gates. I want to see my grandma and my aunt and my mom and my dad. Yeah, I see everybody. I don't care.
That's
I don't
okay.
care what I have to walk through. I'm there.
What if you have to walk? What if you have to walk through fire?
What if
What if
they
you
make
have to walk through hell?
I might have to.
What if they make
Because
you
I don't
hold
know.
Jeffrey Dahmer's hand?
What if they make you call Gypsy Rose a terrible person?
I will not do it. And that is a lie. I will not cross.
Out of heaven!
I will stand by my morals.
I don't know why
I
it
just-
matters so much that I say that.
I just think.
You have no
Listen,
connection to Gypsy Rose.
I
You don't know
know.
her. This is probably never going to get to Gypsy Rose.
I hope not.
Even if
My
it does,
goodness.
why does it matter?
She's had way worse things.
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
worse.
I just think how any of us can get through anything. I mean, life is hard enough without making our choices that people make.
I think the justification of any poor behavior, no matter where you've come from, is not okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you would probably hear her say that.
No, she wouldn't.
I thought I actually did hear her say that.
Well, on
an
socials,
interview.
it's not how she talks. It's not how she talks at all.
Well, that's other people I knew
My
once
man.
didn't talk.
My
about it.
man.
What is it?
I don't
I
even
can't
know.
But just because she calls somebody my man,
No.
No.
She
No.
she actually what happened?
She's a horrible person.
She
Well,
she
not
like
for
got
a
out of prison. She
relationship.
got married, and then
Guy.
she
I know.
cheated on that guy with.
she did not cheat on him. I don't know reports you're
She's
reading.
pregnant with
From
the
her.
other guy.
'Cause she was engaged to the guy she got pregnant with.
You said you don't
In
listen to
jail.
socials.
I know all her story. Are you kidding? It's a horrible story. I know
I'm-
her story.
I'm sorry that I brought this up.
Yeah,
bring this
you
up?
should.
I did. I'm sorry
I'm just
that
saying
I brought
that
it up.
I think that none of us know anyone's story. Even the worst human, we don't know their story.
I agree.
And I don't want to know their story.
But just
to be
because
honest, I don't.
because life's confusing and people make mistakes, it doesn't mean people
No, they make
don't have
choices.
to have
And sometimes they're
consequences.
really bad. And she did. She went to prison.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that she went to prison, and it's crazy that she's not still in prison. And the guy who she manipulated into killing her mom is still in prison, and he has actual mental issues,
Like, actually.
Like development.
like developmental issues. It's crazy that she got away with it, and he's still there.
Yeah, and you don't know the whole story either, too.
Maybe
you don't know
that's-
what
I
part
agree.
he played and what part she played. I
I
don't
agree.
either. I don't. And right or wrong of it, she's out of prison and is living a life. And I hope she can
It's
live.
kind of crazy though that stories like this, Gypsy Rose, are kind of what keep our world turning. Because everybody's so bored with life, they glom
Jerry
on to-
Springer?
They glom
Oh
onto
my
these
gosh,
stories
there's a
and
new
they're like,
documentary. It's Jerry Springer.
It's pretty funny. I think the reason we all climb onto these stories, it's not like human nature. I just think the way that we all live
currently, if we were to go back 150 years, is how like kings would be living.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody's living the most lavish life you could possibly have imagined 200 years ago. Meaning, yeah, you're right. We're all just bored out of our mind. We're all living in luxury.
There's no suffering. So
Yeah.
What? You had to poop in an outhouse
I think-
and kill the
To Peyton's point.
beast of Indians or
Still.
somebody.
Talk about being careful.
White imperialism.
That was not the.
Our mom
the-
is still a little racist.
No,
That's
take
okay.
that out. That was not what I was meaning. I was meaning
Calm down. Calm them all.
I still think
actually, white men came and destroyed the Indians, so we'll take that back.
And white women.
And what? Oh, yeah, what was that? You had to tell me about custard. Is that you?
It's probably Jeff.
let's not go down there.
Let's not go
The
down
dessert?
that road
I still
You could
think
cut that out, please.
Oh, you're so worried.
I still think that
Apologize profusely in a second.
I
in
did.
this age of boredom in society, if you will, that you can find moments of imagination and creation outside of the societal box of boredom that we find ourselves in.
Maybe it's not that we can find moments, but maybe that's the opportunity we've been given.
Yes.
Is that we have the opportunity to be able not to worry about survival
Yeah.
and to just create if you want to.
Just be.
I think
Just
we're
enjoy.
I think we're too. We allow the media to shape our minds.
I
Well,
agree.
don't get caught up in all that.
I
Don't watch it.
okay.
Stop it or I'll bury you in a box.
I listen. We all
Don't spend
Ugh.
hours and hours of time.
Yeah, don't you
Scrolling.
either. Whatever.
All I do is
mister.
play a little Magic.
Yeah, and fall asleep.
That's
like
all
that.
I do.
You go into convulsions when you start to fall asleep, and then you wake up and play again.
High score, 2.
It's, anyways, well, that was a terrible conversation. Let's
Was
move
it?
on.
No,
I
it's,
don't think it was terrible.
Who gives you the right to deem conversations terrible? or
I'm
not?
going to say they're terrible.
But,
That conversation was terrible, but someone's choices on social media aren't.
Yeah.
My man would have touched you with a 10-foot pole. That's what it is.
Why is that horrible?
No, it's
No.
it's out of context.
That's
I mean, I'm just saying,
Goodbye.
why? It doesn't matter. People are stupid.
Oh, wow. You sound like me.
I'm just saying that we're all stupid. We all do dumb things. We all wish we could.
You're not. You're super smart.
I
super toxic.
call my. I have had to apologize for many things in my life.
You're gonna kill yourself on accident.
Oh,
Just be okay with you.
oh my gosh, almighty.
The best part of this is Dad come in with his positive speech.
We can't find imagination and creativity.
That was funny.
Heaven forbid.
Okay. Alright. Did you know that down the road lives a pampered princess, perfect to behold? In a red brick house.
Oh, I thought he spit water out.
No, just go.
Okay. Start again, Emily. It was very cute.
Start again.
She's the host, so.
Okay.
It was very
Alright.
cute.
Did you know that down the road lives a pampered princess, perfect to behold? In a red brick house hidden in the trees. Drive slow. You might miss it if you sneeze. This princess loves to have her wishes met by her prince who appeases without a sweat. This princess is now having trouble sleeping. Something deep inside the wall is creeping. What could be making those reverberating, growling snuffles? She hides under the covers in comforting ruffles. Fear and sounds dance in her mind. Don't look, you may not like what you find. The sobbing starts, this princess down a road. The sounds coming out resemble a toad. The prince awakens to comfort and uplift. The princess breathes and starts to drift. Then that growling sniffle starts again, slowly. She turns toward it and peeks Holy moly. It is the prince making that terrifying startle. Sorry.
You're just apologizing to the air.
That's what you have, like a terrifying startle. I don't know what. Now I'm sweating.
I can't see. Okay. The princess surprises herself with a chortle. She tries to awaken the prince with a nudge, but it was too soft. He didn't budge. She shouts his name, startling him to awaken. He jumps, falls out of bed, a little shaken. She says, I want a bigger bed, fit for a king, so then your snoring won't be such a stink. The prince gathers himself for a minute. He may have finally reached his limit. This is the last time, he finally agrees. He does like when his pampered, perfect princess is pleased. Maybe he will be able to sleep through the night, at least until she comes up with a new plight.
That was very cute.
That was cute.
I'm sorry, I got the giggles. I don't know.
It was great.
I don't know why you're apologizing.
It was perfect. It was really cute. You know, you're perfect at rhyming. It's great.
It was a fun story.
Yeah. So this idea, I think you were kind of writing in there about the princess wanting to change the environment constantly to try to make it better. Is that how it ended with until she came up with a new plight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you know how she was like laying in bed and afraid, and she realized it was her husband making that sound. So when I lived with my grandma, well, I guess it started more when I was younger and I would stay with her. She snored like a freight train, and it terrified me because I didn't know the sound of someone snoring like that. But it was such a snore, and I would lay there and almost be afraid to like move and wonder what the sounds were. And then pretty soon I got used to them if I stayed with her, and I would like make funny pictures in my head of what that one sound was or what another sound was. And so I just thought that was kind of cute, the way you were talking about her covering herself and wondering what that was.
Yeah, you captured marriage well. In some moments.
In some moments. Yeah.
A happy wife is a happy life.
That's
right?
what some say.
Well, I think it works.
Says a pampered princess.
That's right.
You have a way of rhyming that's almost Dr. Seussish. Yeah, it's really cute.
That phrase has always bothered me. So I think since the first day
What?
I've ever
Happy
heard it.
life?
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Because what was you want a
Always
happy
bothered.
husband, happy wife?
No, it's just a weird way to like. I feel like it's a way to say, a way for guys to say, I have control over everything that's going on.
Oh, interesting. I don't see it that way
I
at
don't
all.
either.
I'm thinking that means you
It's
gotta
like
please your wife.
It's a last ditch effort to be like, yep, I know I'm keeping my wife happy, and that's creating all this goodness in my life, and it's like acknowledging that I'm doing it all.
Oh,
I don't either. To me, Peyton, I see it as the difference, being aware of the differences between a man and a woman, that we're different.
Yeah.
And that we can somehow come together in this relationship of a life.
Yeah.
And be okay with being different.
And that you've recognized it all.
Yeah, recognized it. Yeah, it's kind of what I get out of it.
Yeah.
I also think there's something to when you do something for each other, meaning if you do something for your wife and she does something back, there's something to that. or even if you just do something that makes her day nice, there's just something that makes that day go better. At least for me, I think it does when if Dad does things for me, or I don't know how he feels if I do something for him, but I
Just your
sometimes
being.
it's nice.
Just your being is sometimes enough for me.
That's right.
I think that the happy wife, happy life thing dismisses a man's saying things. I think it's very dismissive.
Saying things. What do you mean?
Meaning, I only need to worry about my wife because then my life will be better.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I won't have to deal with
Her nagging at me.
repercussions.
I think you're right about that. But why would a guy say that at all?
Because that's what he felt.
But it goes deeper than feelings. Like, there's a motive behind the words. There's an intention behind them.
I don't know why there always has to be.
There is. It's not that there has to be. There is.
Do you think a man said it or a woman?
Yeah.
That's the
Woman
question.
certainly
Who
could've
started the phrase?
I
Was
think
it a
could
man
go
or a woman?
Both ways. It could be the woman trying to get control and being like, "Oh, if you make me happy, then everything will be better for you." Or it could go the other way. The man's like dismissive over the wife, like just giving her things to make her happy, so that he doesn't have to deal with her, because the marriage isn't good.
Could it be that maybe for a man, there's maybe a little more simplicity in how he looks at life in a relationship or a family or whatever, and maybe in a woman's eyes there's more detail and more parts, that it's different that way?
Circumstantial.
I think it's all complex.
Very complex,
I don't think there's any
but in
simplicity.
different ways.
Do you really think guys see things more simply?
I don't know.
That
I don't
does.
know about that. Maybe that's not the right word.
I'm much more complicated.
I mean, one example in my head is, and this is it's a specific example. It's not. It's specific. So the example is, if we're gonna go out to eat, I've learned that my wife has a place she wants to go. Even if she doesn't know she has a place she wants to go, she has a place that she wants to go. And 95% of the time, I literally don't care. I just don't. I don't care where we're going to eat. And so inevitably she will ask me where we're going to go to eat, and I will say, I don't know. Where are we going? And I because she has some sort of desire, a place that she wants to go. Not a bad thing. It's just different from me. I just don't care.
See, I beg to differ.
You can't. It's my head.
I know. Dad's over here. Dad's over here
because
going
Jeff,
the same thing.
Jeff is trying to explain what I've been saying is that men and women think or look at things a little bit differently.
Yes.
And that's okay.
But the thing
people
is,
look at things
right.
That's true. But it's okay.
It is okay. It's fine. And so, but in that example, if I were to choose a place every time, I've learned through experience that my wife wants to go somewhere else. So I just ask her where she wants to go. Unless that 5% of the time where I'm like, I really want to go here, then I'll say something.
I think it's probably like more like 1%.
The funny thing is, I think it's opposite for us.
Yeah, I don't like the...
Payne's very particular about his video.
Oh, right.
And so I'll be like, where do you want to go? He's like, I don't know, pick. And I'll pick, and he's like, I don't want to go there. I'm like,
You got to learn the skills.
so I'm like, hey, what do you want, Payne? Or what do you not want? And then I pick a place.
Well, I think you're leaving out one aspect, which is I say pick and then you ask me.
What? I don't know.
Like, I say pick and then you ask where I want to go.
Well, then I ask what place you don't want to go because.
Like, if you just picked and just didn't cater to me at all, then that's fine. That'd be okay.
I don't know.
See, what drives me crazy is because he totally is like, every time, I don't know, where do you want to go? And I'll be like, I don't want to pick. You pick.
And what will I say?
I
Almost word for word what Jeff said.
know. And just one time, I'd like you to pick.
I know, but then when I pick, it's
Remember
wrong.
what happened with us in the car?
Then when I pick, it's not what you had an idea of you wanted to do.
Okay, I understand that there is sometimes that either one of us might have an opinion.
That's
but
why I
there are
say,
sometimes-
let's just go to Maverick and get a Muhammad Mama hot dog.
Yeah, but that isn't funny anymore.
That's why I say it. Because you say, no, I don't want to go there.
No, I don't.
I wanna go
don't
somewhere
react anymore.
I think there's a romantic wish from like my experience is that my husband can read what I want.
Yeah, that somehow they'll just know.
Like for him to plan this romantic
Date?
experience, yes. And to go somewhere that's fun and like he wants to be involved, like that sounds like so much fun to me. But then when I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to go? Because I just want to go where you want to go, and then it's like, nope. Like,
You just
no,
learned
I don't.
something.
I don't want to do that. You just pick. So.
Yeah, I don't like
this
that
is a good
either.
point. Marriage sounds complicated.
It
You
is.
have no idea.
So I just experiment around, and
Whoa.
I've found that that method of, as the guy, just assuming that you know where she wants to go works like 90% of the time.
Just assuming.
Just assuming that you know that, and she knows that you know.
Even
that
a little bit of gaslighting in
it
there.
all.
Now, come back and when you have a 10-year relationship
Yeah.
and you
Don't disqualify us.
come back when you have a 10-year relationship and that
Well, how many years
Sounds
have you
good.
had?
yeah.
Or
Because when,
Six.
that's when that
Yes,
person
six.
is no
Wrong.
longer concerned about impressing you, then dynamics might
It
change.
does change. It's true.
I don't think it's.
Then there should
Because-
always be a thing or an expectation for impressing in a relationship. There
That's
should
what I
always
talked to
be
him
that.
about.
So there's a constant growing of impressing, and
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
to where you get
Well.
to this, you build this
Yeah.
tower
When you're
of
just both gods.
both gods of
No.
this relationship
I was sharing
of the
this.
dance.
No, it's
This
true.
will be a fun conversation to look
Yeah.
back in. 5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Well, and I was talking to
Jeffrey's
him
sitting
about
there with
that.
his wife.
Could be really fun.
We'll revisit it like on the TV.
Yeah.
We'll watch this moment.
We were having this conversation because I was saying like sometimes I like to dress up for Dad and stuff, and I feel like he doesn't like to dress up anymore. He just, wears his things.
But I think, to Jeffrey's point, that couples can find little moments of new impressing for their partner.
Maybe dressing up.
Well, and that may be. But there's moments that I am impressed with you. And maybe you are impressed with me in little moments. In little moments. Like when you've been writing. I've told you that I'm so impressed that you've tried.
That you tried.
Yeah, you have.
Oh,
And you've
goodness.
grown
Honey,
in your writing.
honey. Did you hear what all Lee said about that romantic stuff and going on a date, picking up that stuff? That's impressive.
I think wanting to feel like you're seen is a good thing is something in a marriage, that seeing the other person and just making sure that happens.
It's good for
It's good for a marriage.
any of us to do.
All right.
Okay.
That was good. Thank you, Anna.
Was it actually good?
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought it was fun.
I did too.
Playful.
I thought there were some good points.
All right, my title is The Pampered Princess Named Purple Poppy.
Awesome.
In a picture-perfect, pretty place called Pinnacle lived a pampered princess named Purple Poppy. Princess Purple Poppy had two peculiar pets, a python and a peacock. The peacock, named Peanut, had pompous, colorful feathers that dazzled everyone. Peanut loved to show off his vibrant colors, confidently prancing about, and the world adored his display. Poppy's second pet was Pringle, a python whose strength and speed was admired by all. He glided effortlessly through his surroundings, moving as though he controlled space and time, only appearing when he wished to be seen. Princess Purple Poppy adored both her pets equally and often said, "My friends I treat with sympathy, but my pets I pamper equally." However, no one in her kingdom truly understood what this phrase meant, although it did stir up a commotion, leading to a pillowy protest. The people of Pinnacle paraded through the streets, chanting, "Pets can't be equal. There must be one." The protest escalated, forcing everyone into court. The prosecution's case was simple. Poppy must choose one pet to favor. They argued, "Pick one pet and be proud of only them. A pair needs a parent who chooses the best." In her defense, Princess Poppy declared, "Both my pets are proudly purple, just like my name." The judge, baffled by her poetic response, left the decision to Poppy. She reluctantly agreed to spend time with each pet to make her choice. She studied her python Pringle, who taught her the beauty of silent strength and grace. Then she observed Peanut, her peacock, who embodied vibrant confidence and color. Torn between them, Poppy couldn't choose. The mounting pressure from the court and protesters caused her to burst out in frustration, declaring, "I'll decide." Poppy looked at her two pets, who unexpectedly aligned themselves in a stunning formation, creating a piece of living art that could only exist when the two were together. Yet she failed to see their combined beauty. "I wish my python was as feathery as my peacock," Poppy sighed. "And I wish my peacock wasn't so cocky. They make me look like a bad pet parent." With that, she waved her hand and dramatically and exclaimed, "Take them both away." And so the pampered princess dismissed both of her pets, leaving the court, the protesters, and the pets stunned. The end.
Oh, she did it! Oh, no. Oh, that was so good, but that wasn't fair. You just dismissed them.
So good.
It's so good. You could write it. No, you could. I really like writing that doesn't. Your writing was really good, and this is not an insult at all. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's just nonsense.
I loved it.
And I really like it. I really like it.
Like, the world didn't have, like...
Right.
It didn't reference this world. It was its own world.
It was its own world,
Yeah.
and it's just chaotic and silly and nonsensical, and I just liked it.
Yes, I liked it very much.
Will you
Actually,
read-
that was actually one of my favorite little stories that you have done. And Ellie, what pet would she have picked?
She didn't.
No, Ellie Pop, what pet would she have picked, do you think?
Peacock.
I thought she fit perfect purple peacock. Did you ask her to wear that?
No.
Oh.
Just happened to work out.
Serendipity. Will you read Poppy's poetic words to the court?
I can read Poppy's poetic words.
It was awesome. Made me happy.
Yeah, it was really
That
fun.
could be a fun
Little
book. Yep.
In her defense, Princess Poppy declared, "Both my pets are proudly purple, just like my name."
That was like that nonsensical world.
Yeah.
You know, it makes no sense here, but if you go into that world and you're like sitting there in the courtroom listening to Poppy say these profound words.
Proudly
Taking it with
purple.
all seriousness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that little book and them all with purple haze around them? You know, it'd be so cute.
She couldn't pick one.
That's like
She
they
just
ask us to
So
pick
she
for our
dismissed them.
Yeah, she dismissed them. She couldn't just pick one.
That's really,
awesome.
That was good.
really
I
well done.
like the little detail of Poppy being mad about her pets not being able to be just equal or not being able to be like cocky like the peacock or have feathers or
yeah.
Well,
I can't remember how you phrased it, but it made her feel like a bad pet parent because of their shortcomings.
Yeah, they did that to her.
Yeah.
but
I
I
like that.
also loved how they had intertwined and made this beautiful, like, statue-looking thing, and she didn't see it. All she could see is what they had done to her and made her feel like not a good pet parent.
Yeah.
That was really
I
good.
thought that was super interesting. That was
It'd be a fun claymation or
Yeah.
animation.
Let's do our first
I
one.
thought of that as a claymation or like origami.
Yeah.
Movie
We
kind
should
of,
do it.
kind of like moving in one, just like creating shapes and.
I also think it'd be a really cute book.
If we dedicated a week to building a little film, do you think we could get it
Yeah, we
done?
could. If we had a week.
What do you
that
mean?
week
They
wasn't
can't do them in years.
Well, it would just be a little one,
would be
You
a
know who-
and it wouldn't be as
Good.
good as they
I
would.
wonder, do you think Matt would
Excuse me.
give us some help or ideas on
I bet he would be
I mean,
part of that filming.
Making a short, stop motion action film wouldn't be like too hard. It's just taking photos.
I just wonder if he's done it, if Matt's done it.
I don't think he's done that.
Yes.
That was
Okay.
fun. Thank you.
All
I
right,
loved
Poppy,
it.
take us home.
Yeah, what a perfect ending to a perfectly purple poppy story.
Why are P words so fun?
I don't know.
Keywords are fun. They just kept flowing too. They just kept coming.
Perfect prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
It's the 7 P's.
Is that the thing we're to follow now? The 7 P's?
No, some random guy at work told me. Named Patrick.
No, he's a funny dude.
Well, thank you everybody for your stories. That was fun. What kind of a title would you put on this?
Title will be the perfect.
Pampered.
The pampered
Oh.
perfect princess.
Yes, we don't have to talk about that. Give us 5-star review, and you will 100% be a perfect pampered princess or prince, maybe.
Also, give us a like and a follow.
Oh yeah, give us a like and a follow
Sure.
and share. We have
Comments.
fun doing this every week, and sometimes it's a lot out of control, like today with some of my talking.